What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? What if I fail? Sound familiar? Overthinking affects so many people, leaving them feeling exhausted and stuck. But what if I told you there's one question, just one, that can cut through all that noise and instantly free your mind, allowing you to make even the toughest decisions? We're going to answer that question and talk about 3 habits to kill overthinking. If we haven't met before, I'm Seth. I'm an ER doctor and former special ops guy, and someone who has spent way too much time in my own head. See, overthinking makes you feel like you're being more productive, solving problems and preparing for every outcome. But in reality, it's just draining your energy and it's causing needless stress. It steals your time and it fuels your anxiety and it keeps you stuck in fear instead of moving forward. And this happens because your brain is wired for survival. It overthinks because it wants to keep you safe from embarrassment and failure and rejection. But the irony is, by overthinking, you're not really living, you're just surviving. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was in the military, I had to make life or death decisions every day. It wasn't the life or death decisions I overthought the most. It was actually the small stuff. Did I say the wrong thing, or did I look dumb in that meeting? And one night I found myself laying awake, kind of replaying a conversation that I had with one of my teammates. I kept thinking, what if he took that the wrong way? What if I damaged the relationship and therefore damaged our team cohesiveness? The next day I asked him about it and he looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. The thing was, he didn't even notice. That's when I realized most of what we overthink doesn't even really matter to anyone else. It exists only in our heads. So what is the question that stops overthinking immediately? Will this matter in 5 years? And it's deceptively simple, but it really works. And here's why. It shifts your perspective. Suddenly that embarrassing moment or that awkward text or that missed deadline, they shrink into nothing. It forces you to see the bigger picture and it stops you focusing on the tiny details and start focusing on what really matters. I recently came across this really cool short video that focused on a single person, and then the camera zoomed out to focus on the street and subsequently onto the city and then onto the country and then the earth, and it backed up further and further until it was viewing the entire universe, and the galaxy that we live in was but a small speck on there. And it really lent a cool perspective of how insignificant so much of what we do actually is in the grand scheme of life. So let's talk about 3 habits that can break you free. Number 1, pause and ask the question. The next time that you're spiraling out of control in your own mind, take a deep breath and ask, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, just let it go. If the answer is yes, focus on what you can do right now to actually move the needle forward. Number 2 is to focus on what you can control. You cannot control everything. Figure out the one decision that you can make now and make it. You see, action kills overthinking. Once you make the decision, you'll suddenly find clarity. We have a saying in the ER that we teach to our young doctors: occasionally wrong, never in doubt. In the ER, we are forced to make very difficult life or death decisions on the spot. And one of the worst things that you can do often is to make no decision at all. Make the decision and move on. Number 3, you have to accept that you'll be wrong sometimes. You're going to be wrong. You cannot be right 100% of the time. I work in one of the most demanding careers that demands perfection, and even we know that we cannot get everything right. We cannot save every patient. Sometimes we're going to miss stuff that's going to cause people to suffer. We are not perfect. We're not robots, and neither are you. Sometimes you'll order the wrong product. Sometimes you'll pick the wrong restaurant to eat dinner at. Sometimes you're going to make the wrong call in a business meeting. And we all know the story of Thomas Edison and the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before getting it right. Once you accept this fact, it makes it easier to make the hard calls. Even 2,000 years ago, people struggled with overthinking. The famous Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you'll find strength." Aurelius lived in constant pressure. Imagine ruling an empire, the Roman Empire nonetheless, while facing war and betrayal and disease. But he understood that the key to peace wasn't controlling everything. It was controlling his thoughts. Overthinking doesn't solve your problems. It doesn't protect you. It merely robs you of the present moment. So the next time you find yourself trapped in your head, remember this. Will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, let it go? If the answer is yes, make the decision, do the thing, and move on. Because life is happening right now, not in the hypothetical future your brain is worried about. Stop overthinking, start living, and make the moments that truly matter count.